What's up, guys? How's it going? So it's your boy Tom here again. So today we're going to write yet another essay, and this time it is going to be about a man who many of you know. We are going to write about Andrew Tate's recent ban from social media. If you're not aware who Andrew Tate is, give him a little Google. He's a very controversial figure on the internet right now. But as you guys know, we don't really take sides. We'll write about pretty much anything, and here's a little demonstration of that. So anyway, while I was getting ready, I pulled up a few tabs here. And it actually looks like just today, Andrew Tate has been banned from YouTube as well. So he had been banned from the Meta platform about 3 days ago, but now he's been banned permanently from TikTok and from YouTube as well. Now, the essay that we've been requested to write is why he should not have been banned from social media, which is somewhat of a hard thing to argue. I think there's actually a lot of good reasons that he should have been banned. Not necessarily saying that it's right. I'm just saying that there was a lot of reasons for it to happen. Again, we don't really take sides here. However, being that, we are here to write about what you tell us to, we are basically going to argue quite the opposite, that no, he should be on social media forever, whatever. So that's essentially the prompt of today. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I like this title, The Curious Case of Andrew Tate. Social bans and something, I don't know, I like that title. The Curious Case of... It's a play on an old movie, but I think for something like this, it would be okay. It's a bit of an informal piece. The exact prompt we were given was it's creative writing, 3 sources, and also 3 pages. So, The Curious Case of Andrew Tate, social bans, and blank. So anyway, let's just start writing. So I am vaguely familiar with this entire case, so I'm going to be able to breeze through this in about 1 hour tops, probably no longer than that. It's 11:19 right now. If I take a short break, it might pump that out, but should be less than an hour. So let's think about this. So we got to start off with our hook. So what are we going to say? There are few figures as polarizing and controversial in the modern era as that of Andrew Tate. Though many see Tate's quick rise to fame as little more than a grown man pandering to the most immature desires of the young male population of the West, others see him as a symptom of greater social issues finally coming to light. To this, large social media platforms such as Twitter, Facebook, Meta, and TikTok, and YouTube have all taken notice of Tate's meteoric rise. And as of August 2022, he has been banned from all of the above. Though some may argue Tate's ban was well justified, it is clear that banning Tate from social media is a fool's errand. And then what are the 3 reasons going to be? So basically here is our thesis. So nice tight little first paragraph. Here's our thesis, and then each of these points is going to correlate to a body paragraph, then followed by our conclusion. So I know the last point is going to be banning him from social media may even make his message more poignant as his ban falls out of line of a few select guidelines of each platform. So you'll see what we're going to write about that, but basically he was banned from Instagram for stuff that he did on other platforms, which doesn't really make sense. I suppose it's probably in their terms and conditions that that's okay, but we can still make an argument against it. So that like technically they kind of got him on a technicality in regards to his ban on Instagram. YouTube is probably another story. Banning him from social media may make his point even stronger. Okay, as his ban falls out of line with a few, that it is a clear violation of the principles of free speech. That's an easy one. You can pretty much always argue that when someone gets banned from social. And, alright, cool. So let's start off with his ban falling out of line with a few select guidelines. So, Tate was extremely popular on virtually every social platform commercially available today. His largest account was his Instagram, which he would often brag about which he would often utilize as a dating app, as well as a way of spreading his message. With 4.8 million followers at the time of his ban, and again, I just read through these articles for about 5 minutes, that's how I know that number. It is a clear loss to his personal brand. However, it is arguable as to whether or not he actually broke any content, rather he actually engaged in any content-related violations on the platform of Meta. For instance, Tate's Instagram mostly consisted of braggadocious photos of him with luxury automobiles, women, and engaging in hyper-masculine activities such as shooting firearms. However, the vast majority of his, we said however twice there. It's a bad habit of mine. The vast majority of his social and political commentary was reserved for his YouTube channel, and the small army of fans of his that would re-upload his content to platforms such as TikTok. Okay, so Meta dangerous individuals policy. So they've designated him as a violent non-state actor. It's kind of crazy. All right, cool. So Tate was banned from Meta on a technicality that he violated their dangerous individuals and organizations policy. All right, cool. The policy states, the policy aims to Eliminate individuals that proclaim a violent mission or engage in violence to have a presence on Facebook. It is highly arguable. It is highly arguable that Tate's rhetoric, while inflammatory, was hardly the violence that this policy was designed to stamp out. Let's see if Al-Qaeda has a Instagram account. Does Al-Qaeda have social media? I wonder if I know they have Twitter. Does ISIS have Instagram? Okay, ISIS supporters. ISIS still uses Instagram. Okay, cool. So now we have some more good rhetoric. Particularly whenever it is well understood that members of ISIS are still relatively active on Instagram, on meta platforms. All right, so I'm revising this a little bit because we actually just changed the point here. So, as his ban took place as a result of a technicality of dubious legitimacy. Cool, I like that quote. With the Telegraph reporting in 2019 that ISIS uses Instagram. When considering all of the above, Tate's ban from Meta in particular seems to be somewhat flimsy. Maybe that's not the best word. We'll come back to it. Seems to be somewhat flimsy. Particularly whenever the policy he violated was created to stop terrorism. And we could mention how Dan Bilzerian is still on the platform, but this is only a 3-page essay, so there's a lot we can say here, but some of the, one of the things you gotta watch out for is you don't want to get carried away. So, alright, so his ban is okay, cool, so. Beyond Meta's policies alone, it is obvious that the elimination of someone like Tate from modern discourse presents an ethical issue in regards to the right to free speech. The First Amendment of the United States Constitution is frequently called upon in instances where social media deplatforming takes place. Deplatforming isn't technically a word. Oh well, we will make it one. The amendment, while not necessarily applicable to the activities of a private organization like Meta or Google, does highlight a crucial aspect of the American cultural milieu. I never spelled that right. Okay, so I need a little creative juice here. So deplatforming and free speech. Alright, so Vox, they're definitely not going to argue in favor of us. Vanderbilt, that's a good source. Cancel culture arguments against. Let's find a good quote from someone. Man, Vox is just dominating this right here. Pew Research. Okay, so okay, I like that. Cancel culture, as it is known, has become a hot topic within American society, with many stating that those who cancel out messages that they find to be disturbing are creating a generation of citizens who are unable to discern between, no, that's not a good way of putting it, are creating a generation of citizens who are coddled and unfamiliar with how to deal with a dissenting opinion. Actually, coddling of the American mind. So one thing you get with me is I read books all the time, and The Coddling of the American Mind was a really good one. And I want to find some good quotes from it, because I've read this book, and it essentially talks all about cancel culture. This coddling, as Jonathan Hyde puts it, creates a populace where trying to find a good quote here. Where people lack resilience. Hyde states that Okay, and I'm going to shorten this. All right, so I just paraphrase that a bit. To this, one could argue that Tate's opinions about finance, gender roles, and what else does Tate talk about? And male culture are an essential counterweight that make up the modern zeitgeist. And that if they truly were so abhorrent, then it should be the public themselves that decides against them. Building on this point is the ideological idea that banning certain individuals only legitimizes their message and makes them all that much stronger. A crucial aspect of Tate's rhetoric is the notion of escaping a society that he claims is aligned against men. Tate often makes comparisons with the 2001 film The Matrix and the modern era, stating that men are oppressed and are essentially designed to be, Andrew Tate quotes, taxes. Let's see here. Let's see. All right, whatever. Let's just watch some TikToks. Who cares? Come on. Hit maxes evade taxes. Wow. Exciting. All right, and are essentially designed to be and are extracted from by modern governments and perhaps even women. Best of all, Tate makes comparisons between himself and the film's character Morpheus, the man in charge of unplugging the protagonist Neo from the false world in which he lives. Being that this is the narrative that Tate has put forth for so long, it is obvious that a secondary narrative exists within his rhetoric that the establishment is aligned against him. And we'll find some quotes to beef this up as well. Banning Andrew Tate. One could very much argue that from a philosophical perspective, Tate has been made into a martyr, similar to that of Donald Trump, who was also banned from... Where's Trump banned from? Trump banned from... Hold on, I gotta drink some water. It's sparkling water, because I'm not poor. Oh, wow. Delicious. Because I'm not a brokey. Where's Trump banned from? Trump banned from, Social, what's Trump banned from? Who was also banned from Facebook and Twitter in 2020. Yet, Trump remains the Republican frontrunner in the United States, with many believing with his ban simply furthering the notion that he is a messiah figure working against a deep state swamp that wishes to crush his movement. Being that Tate espouses many of the same traditionalist, far-right leanings of Trump supporters, it would hardly be out of the question to state that Tate will likely pounce on this opportunity to further his message and perhaps even continue to grow in popularity. All right, cool. We've made really good time. This has been like 25 minutes. About the top G. The Curious Case of Andrew Tate. Social bans and against deplatforming. The Curious Tale of Andrew Tate, a case against deplatforming. I like that. Okay. Though Andrew Tate may no longer have any social presence whatsoever, one is hard-pressed to say that this is the last that will be heard from him. His home domain, cobratate.com, still has the ability to host streams and video where many of his fans will likely still congregate for the foreseeable future, notwithstanding those who... yeah, we'll just go with that. Though banning Tate from social media may seem like a logical enough step at first glance, it is clear that if anything, these actions will likely produce the opposite of the desired outcome. And we're going to restate our thesis. So, Tate's ban was done under the guise of illegitimate use of social policies, of company policies, presents ethical issues in regards to the right to speak freely, and works to further his message that he is indeed a messiah figure that a shadowy cabal wishes to crush. All right. Though the events of August 2022 have created a multitude of issues for Andrew Tate, for the outspoken, for this outspoken figure, one can be assured that the internet currently sits on the edge of their collective seats in sharp anticipation for the next scene in the curious case of Andrew Tate. I love that. Though the events of 2022 have created a multitude of issues for this outspoken figure, one can be assured that the internet currently sits on the edge of their collective seats in sharp anticipation for the next scene in the curious case of Andrew Tate. Whoa. All right, cool. So this is pretty good. We're gonna wrap this up soon, but we got to get it into Grammarly. Okay, so here we are in Grammarly. The essay's basically wrapped up. We have to start actually doing some proofing here. So we're gonna go up to correctness. So that was a false positive, actually. Okay, so I'm pretty good at quickly rocking through these and figuring out what's right and what's wrong, but I always do a fast Grammarly push, and then I do a slow read through afterward to make sure that everything is all good. But I find that the majority of the time Grammarly is correct. However, it does often come upon some false positives and whatnot, which we will need to address should they manifest. So anyway, keep going. A lot of it's just basic punctuation stuff, commas. Okay. So a lot of the time, I mean, Grammarly, it's not a formality because even the best writers make little mistakes. We're going to keep deplatforming as a word in there. I think that it's well known enough. Okay, passive voice, we'll eliminate that a bit later on. I do like the clarity section here because it allows you to really condense down what you're writing and make it a lot more concise. So okay, so just some instances of passive voice we have to manually stamp out. That's all fine. And then engagement's great because most of the time it's just correct. Truly versus genuinely, ideological versus romantic, that's not correct. All right. So that's our Grammarly push. Now let's clean up this passive voice. All right. Appeared. I'm going to leave that wordy sentence just because I like it. One can be assured. I'll keep that instance of passive voice just because I love how that sounds. Was also banned. All right, cool. So I'm going to leave 2 instances of passive voice in this essay. A lot of professors don't even really ding for that. It's just a nice thing to do. So, okay, cool. So we have to add in our citations as well. So we're going to go to Cite This For Me, and we're going to do our first read through. So you'll get a little idea of our quality control just by doing this. So writing, Grammarly, all original, straight from the dome, basically. Then Grammarly is the next one, where we use an algorithm to stamp out any things we may not have noticed. And then while we're still in Grammarly, what we're going to do is we're going to cite everything and read through it again, so we're like double sure there's no problems. And then the very last thing is we're going to do one final read through before saving it. So, all right, cool. So of a young, male population in the West, more significant social matters. To this social media conglomerates. Tate's banning and deplatforming. Let's just say Tate's deplatforming. Tate's ban took place as a technicality of dubious legitimacy of the ethical and banning Tate. Okay. All right, cool. So now when you write these essays, you have a lot of little facts that you just frequently call upon. Like, Tate's Instagram has 4.8 million followers. That's what you need. That's what you need these basic citations for. I just closed both of those tabs. All right, Andrew Tate, social media ban. Let's find them again. There we go. NBC News. That's so crazy this guy's on freaking NBC News. Oh, it's 4.7 million, not 4.8. Okay. So we're back over here. Right, cite this for me. We only need 3 sources. We're probably going to have a lot more than that. That's okay, usually. Let me drink some sparkling water real quick, because I'm not poor. By the way, that's something that Andrew Tate says. I don't want to piss anybody off. But yeah, he loves sparkling water. Anyway, a little fun fact I learned in my research about this guy. So, so we're going to cite this policy from Facebook now. Get that in here. So we just got this quote from Facebook. Now we need to cite it. And one thing we got to do is shorten these citations just so they're not too long. And then we need ISIS. Should we cite Fox News? Probably not. There we go. So we found the original source that Fox News had grabbed that from, so we're just going to copy that in. Okay. So this source, the whole point is to make it seem ridiculous that some guy gets banned from Instagram, but there's people who are using it to promote terrorism. Which is a pretty good argument in my opinion, regardless of what you think about a fellow like Andrew Tate. Okay, then we quoted this book here. So that was just kind of a lucky break because I'd happened to read that book before, but a lot of the time if you end up getting something from me, you get to pull upon that knowledge. I read pretty much every day, so oftentimes I'll be able to say, oh, this book, that book, and I can easily work a book into a piece without necessarily having to go and read something new. So it's good to be a reader, as they say. Oh yeah, cool, we'll be through this pretty quick. Come on, back to bibliography. Now, as I recall, this was on page 72. And then we just need a we just need a little source here. Andrew Tate. Morpheus. Okay. Aha, here we go. I just wonder how they're gonna actually ban him if other people are uploading his stuff all the time. This would be a little interesting piece of internet history as it unfolds. So we're at the three, so we're way past the 3 source minimum now. So I don't really have to cite anything here, just because this last paragraph we're not talking about too much stuff, but just for good measure. Tate frequently talks about the movie The Matrix, and I know they talk about that here. Okay, that's the last citation we have. And now we're going to go back over here, get that in. We got to fix the formatting because it's going to be messed up from copying it over, but that's okay. And we're closing in, so 5-7 minutes, we'll be done here. So just like I thought, way underneath the scope of an hour, which is great. Love that. Absolutely love that. And yep, just over 3 pages. Pretty much hit the nail right on the head with that. There's our references. And we're just gonna make them all the same size. That's all good. Okay, double. There we go. Another save. Okay. So you've seen me proof this twice now, and we are about to do a final proof. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run spell check. So just to give you an idea of how thorough this is, we've run Grammarly like twice now, and now we're going to run spell check as well. We've done 2 manual read-throughs, and now we're about to do a final read-through as well. All right, the curious case of Andrew Tate. What's a synonym for case? Fallacy of deplatforming. The curious case of Andrew Tate. The fallacy of deplatforming. There are a few all right, cool. Of a young male population in the West, how this seems as a symptom of more significant social issues finally coming to light. Good. Social media. All right, cool. So I just made a few changes there. Okay, cool. First paragraph is clear, secure. Until just a few days ago. His most extensive account was Instagram, comma, with 4.7. So now I'm just removing little unnecessary wordy things. His most extensive, I'll just say his largest. It is highly arguable, it is arguable. Okay. Behind metas. Alright, cool. Alright. Crucial aspect of the American cultural milieu. Nice. Within modern discourse. Cool. Got the page number. And if they genuinely were so vile, then it should be the public themselves that decides against them. This point is the idea that banning specific individuals only legitimizes their messages and makes them much stronger. Okay. Escaping a society that he claims aligns against men. 2001 film The Matrix, put that in italics. I just shortened that citation down. That one snuck past me. Secondary messages exist within his rhetoric. The establishment aligns against him. Tate is a martyr like Donald Trump. Tate is a martyr in a Trumpian sense. Yet, despite this, that he is a messiah figure working against the deep state swamp that wishes to crush his movement. Further his message and perhaps even continue to grow in popularity. Alright, cool. Though he may be banned from social media, it is nearly impossible to ban a person from creating content entirely, which he will assuredly continue to do. The banning Tate from social media may seem like a logical enough step at first glance. Logical enough action. It is clear that these actions will likely produce the opposite of the desired outcome of the modern political establishment. Tate's ban was done under the guise of illegitimate use of company policies, presents ethical issues regarding the right to speak freely, and works to further his message that he is indeed a messiah figure that a shadowy cabal wishes to crush. Nice. The internet currently sits on the edge of its collective seats in intense anticipation for the next scene in the ongoing, for the next So the next action in the curious case of Andrew Tate. Sweet! We are done. But you know what? I'm going to read through it one more time. This is the fourth proofread. That's what you get. At the time of its removal. Just little things like that. Aims to stop terrorism. Not a professional kickboxer posting opinionated lifestyle content. Love that. The United States for the 2024 election. Of the modern technocratic establishment. I like that word. That a shadowy cabal wishes to crush. Okay, guys. That is pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed watching this painstakingly meticulous breakdown of Andrew Tate and his most recent social media ban. Please remember that you are free to request me at any time whenever you are using the site, and I would love to work with you. And I promise to deliver the same level of quality with all of you that I have here. I hope you all have a great day. See you guys soon.